Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today we have a special guest joining us. Her name is Deborah Dewet. She is a mother of 3, grandmother of 7, a wife and wellness coach, focusing on inner being alignment through the practice of love-centered guided journaling and self-discovery. She is joining us from Calgary, Alberta. Welcome, Deborah. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Irina. It's wonderful to be here and to share my story with you.
Yeah, thank you. So please share with us, how did you become a single parent?
It was by choice. At the time, my husband decided he wanted to be with more people. So I decided I wasn't one of those people. And so we separated, and I had 3 small children at the time. And I did find that it was so much better for me and for the children, because there wasn't the arguing that was going on anymore. And I really loved being a single parent because I love parenting, and I was so in love with my children. To me, there was nothing greater than my children. They came before anything else for me. And I really loved being able to just love them the way that I love them. And so they grew up with 2 families, and their father remarried, but I decided I didn't want to bring another person into the mix. I wasn't at a point in my life with who I was to give attention to that and to give attention to my children. And I was very, very happy being a single parent. I really enjoyed being able to do things with them the way I enjoyed doing things with them. And I enjoyed having fun with them and doing the little things like going to the park or going for walks. One of my youngest kids' favorite things was to go and walk in the rain. So at the time I was living in Texas, so it rained and it was warm. So we would go and dance in the rain and walk around and just play in the rain. So it was just very simple pleasures like that. And I really enjoyed it. And the one year I remember I took my girls to Disney World. Yep, Disney World out in Florida. And we had the best time because I said, okay, this is your vacation. We are going to just do what you want to do. You choose where we're going to go today. You choose what you want to do. And when I came back, people would say, well, what did you do for yourself? I was with my children and I had fun. That's what I did for myself. That's what lit me up and brought me joy.
That's beautiful, incredible. I also took, for my daughter's, I think it was 12th or 13th birthday, we went to Disney World.
It's quite an experience, huh?
Yeah. And I never seen that fun on the face, like real, genuine happiness ever.
Yeah.
In 13 years, I never seen that excitement. It was unbelievable.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So being a single parent, did you face any challenges or were everything smooth?
Oh, no, huge challenges. I was taken to court about 4 or 5 times by my ex-husband. So it was a very contentious atmosphere. So those were great challenges for me. I think the blessing that I had was that um, my parents had moved to America and they were there, so my children never had to go home to an empty house because once we got divorced, I had to work. I had been a stay-at-home mom, and so I needed to work. And so the blessing for me was that my parents were there and the kids had a place to go and be safe and still be children and have fun. And so there was that. And, you get tired at the end of the day, but still have to provide a meal and time with the children. Let them talk to you, let them get to know who you are, you get to know what's going on in their worlds. And I used to find, before I got divorced, I used to find that I would get angry and frustrated. And I hated being angry and frustrated with my kids. I hated it. And I used to feel so guilty about it until I realized the moment I've realized I was starting to go into the cycle of feeling anger, I would make it comedic. I would over exaggerate and just really make it look so crazy. And then the kids and I could sit and laugh about it. And that definitely took away a lot of those guilty feelings that I had of feeling angry and frustrated with life, not necessarily then, but with life at that time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's beautiful, that you were able to come up with a tool like that. I think when you can laugh at a situation, it becomes easier to pass. And I think we are very serious when we do life. We forget to laugh at ourselves.
Exactly.
At our blunders, and we expect everything to be perfect. We have a lot of expectations how things supposed to be, and when it doesn't go against our expectations, we get upset, and then we can ruin a whole day just because of that. So kudos to you for creating this tool that is so light-hearted and takes mind off of things, because in the end of the day, does it really matter that thing we quarreled about or we were worried or concerned about? On the grand scheme of things, if we look
exactly
yeah, really
exactly
worth the negative, the anger, the pain, in suffering, does it really worth it, or can we do something different about it?
Exactly. And one of the tools that I taught my kids that I really, really love is I don't know if you know the tool of filling your love cup. What it is when a child is in a state of distress, so their nervous system is not in regulation, they're dysregulated. One of the quickest, easiest ways to help them regulate is to teach them, ask them, do you need your love cup filled? Which means they come and they look in your eyes for the love that's there for them. So now you have them focused on you. There's a love for them there. They feel connected, they feel seen, they feel heard. And now they regulate it again and they can go and do what they want to do with their day. And I had taught my kids this, and one of my favorite stories is my younger daughter. She had gone to visit her dad, and she came home and she said, Mom, I needed my love cup filled. She was about 6 at the time. And I said, oh, well, did you ask the parents? And she said, well, they don't know about that stuff, Mom. So I said, well, did you ask your brother and sister? And she said, no, they weren't there. So I said, what did you do? And she said, I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror in my own eyes for the love that was there.
That's beautiful.
It's amazing. These kiddos are so amazing.
I love that tool. That's amazing. Look in the eyes and see the love that is there for you. That's amazing.
And you know what's so sweet is they would come to me, they'd say, I'm having a bit of a hard day, and they'd say, Mom, do you need your love cup filled today? And they would come and sit on my lap and look in my eyes so I could see the love they had for me. Kids just want to know that they matter and they make a difference in your life.
Yeah, you're right. If you could go back in the past, would you do anything differently?
Yes, I would have more fun. I would not take myself so seriously. Would I ever change having married the man I did? Never, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the children I had. To me, I've always said the greatest gift he ever gave me was my children.
Beautiful. What do you think is the most important trait to instill in a child?
Self-reliance. Learning to rely on themselves. I was a massage therapist in Texas, and I taught infant massage to the pregnant moms and dads. And one of my favorite stories that I always used to tell when I was working with them was I'd say, we need to teach our children how to make choices. And it's not random choices. Teach them, do you want to wear this set of clothing or this set of clothing? So now they're learning to make choices. They're learning in a safe environment, and they're starting to trust their own choices. And I'd say, because my daughter, who is now 16 years old, is not going to say, John, hold on. Mom, is it okay if I kiss him? She needs to know for herself if that's a choice she wants to make and trust herself with that. So it's really our job to help them to be self-reliant, to know how to self-regulate, to know how to love themselves. That to me is a really big thing, is loving themselves.
You're right. You're right. I think that's one thing they don't teach in schools, and it's our job to teach that. So that
You know what?
they grow up to be fulfilling adults who don't feel that they're not good enough.
Exactly. And that's why I created the journals that I did for the kids, the ones called This Is Me Journal, because my granddaughter is now 12 years old. And she's at that age where you start to become self-aware, and you start having a look around, and it starts becoming relational. They start looking at the other kids and thinking, oh, well, I'm not as good as so-and-so. And I wanted her to get to know herself, to write it out, because writing it out then puts it into your brain, and you now have a blueprint. So things that I have in the journal are questions like, one thing I love about myself is I'm a good friend because 3 things I can do if I feel sad. And now they have that. So next time they feel sad, they can say, oh, I remember I wrote down, I can listen to some music and that'll help. And so now they have a tool to help regulate themselves again, to help get themselves to shift that point that they're at. And I've created a companion journal for the parents. And that's the one that I really love that I've done that, because in the journal for the parents, it asks, one thing I did for my mind, one thing I did for my body, one thing I did for my spirit, and one thing I appreciate about myself. And now I'm getting the parents back into loving themselves. And the children are now looking at the good things about themselves. So now we're creating positivity in the families.
Yes.
And it to me is so important that the parent, because kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. They model you. And so we've got to model loving ourselves, having fun, So that to me is just really, really important for the way that life is going. I love that I see a shift in parenting where it is more centered along the lines of children have feelings, children are seen, children are heard, how they feel matters, and that they know you have their back. If they don't want to hug someone, they don't have to. And they need to know that you will stand behind them. If they say, I don't feel like hugging Granny today, it's fine. They might just be having something going on with them that they don't, that connection just isn't there for them that day. And we need to be able to honor that, because if you respect a child will know how to respect.
You're right. You're right. I think, yeah, it is very important, self-reliance and loving ourselves. I know it's, if you talked about loving yourselves 20 years ago, people would look at you funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like a mainstream. You got to do this. Otherwise, like, what's wrong with you? You're not loving yourself.
I love the shift. I love that there's that shift.
Yeah.
And most times it's, I want you to love me, so you can't love yourself, because if you're loving yourself, you won't do what I want you to do.
Yeah. Because the biggest relationship we ever have is a relationship with ourselves. You gotta be able to hang around and not feel sad that we are alone. We entertain ourselves.
Yeah.
Discover what makes you tick. Discover what it is that brings you joy. And then
Yes.
somebody else comes along, it's just a cherry on top. And if they leave, if something happens, you're still okay. You didn't fall apart and disintegrate.
Exactly. Exactly. We're here to share a journey with each other,
Yes.
But the greatest journey and the one who will never ever leave you is you.
That's right.
So you may as well love who you are.
Yeah, that's what I decided. I gotta make myself happy, because if I'm miserable, everybody around me will be miserable.
Yeah.
You can't expect, orange juice to come out from a lemon. Lemon juice only can give you lemons.
Yeah. Yep.
And like you said, filling yourself, your love cup. I believe filling yourself with good things, because we can only share what we have inside. We can overflow from what we have inside. If we are miserable, if we are underslept, we are overstressed, then we're just gonna be these bitter people all the time, and then we'll develop a temperament of that kind of person.
Because that's the habit.
Yes.
Because that becomes your habit.
That's right.
And habits can be changed. It's never too late. Never, never, never. At 110, you can still change.
That's right. So to that end, what advice would you give to single parents who are just stepping onto the single parenting journey?
First and foremostly, love yourself. Secondly, take time to know yourself. Take that time. You're worth it. And you didn't do anything wrong. If you have children, your marriage succeeded. You created healthy, wonderful little ones, and the dynamic just changed. That's all that happened. The dynamic changed. But now you need to be a model for the children, a model of how to be happy, of how to look and search for who you are, and share that with them. They get so excited when you do something new for yourself. They love it. And it can be something as simple as sharing a mealtime, cooking with the kids. That's simple, because a lot of conversations come out of that.
Yeah.
And you have an expectation of who you think you should be as a parent. They don't have that expectation. They have no idea. They just love you because you're mom or dad.
And you're right, because heckled, we think we have to create something like, but they don't know any different.
They don't.
They
And
only know this way. And we have our preconceptions and our ideas about how life's supposed to be. And when it doesn't feel that narrative, we feel somehow like I was searching what the new normal look like, because everywhere I looked, there were families, they were together. On outside, they looked happy. I don't know what happens behind the doors.
yeah,
But on the
yeah.
outside, they're all together. And there I was, this weird outlier all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered, and that normal is what normal for me could be not normal for you, and it doesn't, and it's
It,
fine. We are our own creatures. We can create our own way, and yeah, we gotta create new rituals. If we were together with a person for many years, you gotta discover, like you said, who you are and create new rituals for yourself
absolutely.
to create new ways of being, new ways of doing about you. Fill your cup
Yeah.
first, and I love that. Love your love cup exercise. That's amazing.
Good. Good. It is a very good one.
Was there a book you read that impacted you in any way, like that had a big impact on you in your life?
Mm. Oh gosh. It's usually ever what I'm reading what I'm reading at the moment,
What
because it's always, kind of relevant to what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about,
yeah.
what I'm pondering about. I love Elizabeth Gilbert. I love her story. She's the one who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes,
And
I read.
you read it?
I didn't read It Pray Love, but I read I think it was Big Magic.
Big Magic. I
That
love
I
Big
love
Magic.
that one. I love.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you listen to Elizabeth Gilbert, if you listen to any of her YouTube things that she's put out there, how she talks about self-love, um, and knowing that if she can forgive somebody else, she has to be able to forgive herself, because without forgiving herself, it forgiving anybody else doesn't matter.
You're right. Forgiveness is that cornerstone of a life that we
It
gotta
is.
practice on a daily basis
It
whenever we
is.
have an argument, whenever anything comes up.
One of the other things that I love to do now is often at night, probably 2 or 3 times a week. Before I go to sleep, I'll put my hand over my heart and I'll hold my other hand up, and then I will take all my children or my grandchildren and put my hand there, and I breathe out my love for them and then breathe in their love for me. And just do that a few times with each of the children, each one. And it was so interesting. The other day, I thought about doing it, and I just was in a place where it just didn't feel good to be doing that. And so I thought, well, you know what? I will do that with me. I will do that with my inner being. And I just breathed out my love for it and its love for me. I just did that breathing. And I came to a point where I realized, if I'm feeling this good with this love, then I'm going to send it to all the pieces of me that felt so unloved at points in my life. And with that, I mean, it was just like the floodgates opened, and it felt like being in ecstasy.
That's beautiful, and you're so right. We have those unloved parts of ourselves that kind of fragmented over time, and it is our job to bring them together, because in the end of the day, we are all whole, and we gotta
Yes.
love all those parts so they can
Yeah.
reconnect with each other.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I had a very interesting experience after I had done it about a day later. I was in the kitchen and I was making some buns because I always make buns. My husband and I are gluten-free, so we make our own. And I was in the kitchen making it, and it was like this split-second thing that happened, but I was standing there, and it was like all those unloved pieces kind of lined up and came into me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was spectacular. It was quite the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, you're right. I wanted to ask you about your journals. What had happened? Like, how did you decided to suddenly do that? What led you to follow that path?
Um, well, the journal for the kids I created for my granddaughter, who is now 12. It was just meant to be for her. And I told somebody about it, and they said, no, we would love for you to put it up on Amazon. But her dad had died when she was 6, and I wanted her to know that whether he was physically present or not, she could still go on and have a good life. So it's just like whether, when people separate, so that she can grow up knowing who she is, learning to love life, and walk out into that world more resilient. Because when you know who you are, nobody can make you anything else.
That's true.
And so it came from that. It also came from just the years of experience, being a labor coach, being in the room, seeing those little ones born, and just being so in awe of knowing that these little beings are going to make choices, all the choices in their life. And each one is a little plot twist that takes them down a different road. And that we as parents have such an amazing opportunity to help guide them and let them make those choices. And so I wanted them to really see who they are, get to know themselves, these little beings, these 12, 13-year-olds, so they can get to really ask the questions of why am I a good friend? How do I help myself when I feel sad? And just really be able to be resilient and trust themselves. I really want to turn people, adults, children, to turn inward, because that's where your choices come from.
You're right.
And when you have that connection, you can trust yourself. You can know, yes, it is, or no, it isn't. And I recently heard this, and I think it's so beautiful. This girl was saying she was at that age where she was dating and starting to look at boys and what have you, and there were parties and things happening. She'd say to her mom, well, I want to go to this party. Can I go? And her mom would say to her, what does your heart say? Because it knows if you should be there or not. It'll let you know immediately if there's danger, if it's something doesn't feel right. That's where you go. Ask your heart.
You're right.
And that's what I want, is for them to learn to turn in and ask the heart.
You're so right. And beautiful thing to create for your granddaughter. That's incredible. Is doesn't matter if her dad is around or not, but she still has that self-esteem. She still feels loved, and cared
Yes.
for, and has that kind of a seed of love inside of her to remember who she is, and no matter what happens externally, she still feels safe, protected, and loved. And I think that is incredible. So thank you so much for creating that and then sharing it with others. I think it is a needed tool. Doesn't matter if you're a single parent raising kids on your own, or if you lost someone, especially you also did it for adults, right? So adults who felt underloved when they were children, I think it's a good idea to start doing that and start practicing those journaling things that you can help yourself. You don't need to go anywhere. Just open the journal and start working.
The one of the other pages that I really love in the adult journal that I actually want to add to the children's journal when I do a new edition of it, but is the nighttime love note. Is they write a love note to themselves every night. And the reason we do it at night is because it's the last thing you'll do. It's a note that, and I always started, "Dear beloved Deborah, thank you for a beautiful day. This happened in the day. I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad you went on Irina's show with her so that we could get the word out. I am so happy that you were confident enough to do it." And then I always ended with, "I love you, love me." And now I've taken all the good pieces of the day. I found gratitude in the day. And when you go to bed in that state, you have a peaceful time. And now when you wake up again in the morning, you're waking up into that peace as well. So it's just a way of really learning to love yourself.
It's so true. So true. I don't have a journal, but when I go to sleep, I recount the day and I remember 3 great things that happened today. Instead of worrying about things I didn't complete, what were the 3 positive moments? And it could be simple things, maybe hugging my child, or,
Yes.
connecting with people. Nothing huge.
I smiled at the lady walking down the street.
Right.
And she just lit up.
Yes.
Just little things.
Simple little things, yes.
Yeah. Now, I would encourage you to journal. Just write a love note. Just try the love note, because what happens when you do that, writing it down, the hands are a backdoor to it filters out all the naysaying pieces of you.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it also then takes it deeper into the subconscious. So now the subconscious is slowly getting programmed into the positivity as well.
Yeah, I do when I don't fall asleep. I have a journal.
Yeah. But being a single parent,
practice. It's a great practice.
Being a single parent, yeah, it's tiring. So give yourself grace.
That's right. Grace is important.
I love, I was flipping through Instagram and I saw somebody said, gratitude is the lubricant for the brain. And I love that because it makes things run more smoothly. Yeah, I love that.
You're right. Yeah, gratitude and meditation is like inner shower of the mind. We always make sure to shower so we smell nice, we feel fresh. But in order to feel fresh in the mind, we got to do those things of gratitude and meditation and forgiveness, those 3.
Yep.
And daily routine.
Yep. I get up at 4:00 in the morning and I do standing meditation. Then my husband and I sit and journal, and then we do a 15-minute sitting meditation. And that's how we start our day. And then at night, we write our love letters.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I usually like to, in the morning, I go for a walk.
Mhm.
I listen to affirmations that I record for myself.
Nice.
And then I'm working on a book right now that's going to come out next year. So I
That's exciting.
write for 30 minutes. And when I walk,
There.
I watch, go and look at sunrise.
Mhm.
And I listen to something like when I'm working. So some podcast or an audiobook.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's my morning.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
Nope, I don't think so. I think we've spoken about everything and more.
Sounds good.
I
If
wasn't
people,
aware that I was going to say all that.
if people would like to know more about you, read your journals, practice your journals, where would they go?
Okay, the journals are on Amazon. And they can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I'm very easy to find, Deborah Dewet, and you'll see my journals are in the banner there. And they can also connect with me on Facebook, just under Deborah Dewet.
We'll include all of the links and episode notes. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. I love your practices, filling your love cup and the night letters, love letters. I think those are incredible. And also that breathe out my love practice. I think I really love those pieces. And I think I'm going to practice with every podcast guest that I get to have. I learn something new and then I adapt it for myself.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah.
It was a
And
pleasure.
exactly, adapt it for yourself.
Yes,
Make it work for your life.
that's right. We gotta make ourselves happy. That's the whole point. We don't come
Yes,
here to suffer. We come to have a human experience.
exactly.
So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom. I really enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed our time together very much.